Words have a magical power. They can either bring the greatest happiness or the deepest despair. Being entirely honest with oneself is a good exercise. We choose not randomly each other. We meet only those who already exists in our subconscious. The only person with whom you have to compare ourselves is that you in the past, and the only person better you should be. This is who you are now. The goal of all life is death. Love and work, work and love. That's all there is. Love is a state of temporary psychosis. Most people do not really want freedom, because freedom involves responsibility, and most people are frightened of responsibility. Dreams are the royal road to the unconscious. I cannot think of any need in childhood as strong as the need for a father's protection. We are what we are because we have been what we have been. Without love we fall ill. The mind is like an iceberg. It floats with 1/7 of its bulk above water. From era to era one discovers the entire truth. The voice of reason is small, but very persistent. How bold one gets when one is sure of being loved. It is not attention that the child is seeking, but love. The voice of the intellect is a soft one, but it does not rest until it has gained a hearing. All family life is organized around the most damaged person in it. Time spent with cats is never wasted. If you can't do it, give up. A piece of creative writing, like a day dream, is a continuation of, and a substitute for, what was once the play of childhood. If you want your wife to listen to you, then talk to another woman. She will be all ears. The madman is a dreamer awake. Dreams are often most profound when they seem the most crazy. A father's death is the most important event, the more heartbreaking and poignant loss in a man's life. Loneliness and darkness have just robbed me of my valuables. The hallmarks of a healthy life are the abilities to love and to work. Each requires imagination. Anxiety in children is originally nothing other than an expression of the fact they are feeling the loss of the person they love. Crystals reveal their hidden structures only when broken. When inspiration does not come to me, I go halfway to meet it. Dreams are the guardians of sleep and not its disturbers. To be completely honest with oneself is the very best effort a human being can make. Only the real, rare, true scientific minds can endure doubt, which is attached to all our knowledge. Writers write for fame, wealth, power, and the love of women. Men are more moral than they think and far more immoral than they can imagine. My love is something valuable to me which I ought not to throw away without reflection. Knowledge is the intellectual manipulation of carefully verified observations. One is very crazy when in love. Where such men love they have no desire, and where they desire they cannot love. He that has eyes to see and ears to hear may convince himself that no mortal can keep a secret. If his lips are silent, he chatters with his fingertips. Betrayal oozes out of him at every pore. The interpretation of dreams is the royal road to a knowledge of the unconscious activities of the mind. The great question that has never been answered, and which I have not yet been able to answer, despite my 30 years of research into the feminine soul, is what does a woman want? The more perfect a person is on the outside, the more demons they have on the inside. Look into the depths of your own soul and learn first to know yourself. Then you will understand why this illness was bound to come upon you, and perhaps you will thenceforth avoid falling ill. Children are completely egoistic. They feel their needs intensely and strive ruthlessly to satisfy them. Toward the person who has died we adopt a special attitude, something like admiration for someone who has accomplished a very difficult task. No, our science is no illusion. But an illusion it would be to suppose that what science cannot give us we can get elsewhere. It is impossible to escape the impression that people commonly use false standards of measurement, that they seek power, success, and wealth for themselves and admire them in others, and that they underestimate what is of true value in life. Men are strong so long as they represent a strong idea. They become powerless when they oppose it. A woman should soften, but not weaken a man. There is little that gives children greater pleasure than when a grown-up lets himself down to their level, renounces his oppressive superiority, and plays with them as an equal. When one does not have what one wants, one must want what one has. Life as we find it is too hard for us. It entails too much pain, too many disappointments, impossible tasks. We cannot do without palliative remedies. Just as no one can be forced into belief, so no one can be forced into unbelief.